Alright, yes people, what is good? This is Toby from a couple of weeks after filming this video, but I just want to give you a quick little bit of context before we jump in. So this video was actually filmed as part of a 5 skills to help you get started within tricking video, but the entire video and the edit ended up being like over an hour, so I thought I'd just sift through it, make it nice and quick or quicker for you guys, and we'll break up the videos into the individual skills themselves. So this one is going to be how to learn a backflip. Hope you enjoy. Apologies for the awful audio quality in this one. I'm having to use my phone voice notes as none of my microphones are deciding to work, but that is part of the process and the wonders of editing. Anyway, jumping back into previous Tobes now, and he's going to teach you how to backflip.
Alright, yes people, what's going on? I hope you're good. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys 5 skills you can learn to help get you started within tricking. Now, some of the skills I'm going to show you, I would recommend you learn inside a gym with some kit. However, there are some skills you can learn outside without the use of any kit at all. This video is also for anyone who is looking to learn these skills, regardless of your age, whether you're an adult and you're in your 40s, or whether you are just starting out tricking and you're 13 years old. If you can get to the gym, you can work them, then I'm sure you can learn them. Alright, so the first skill we're going to be working is everyone's favourite, the old trusty backflip. So before we actually start learning the backflip, there are going to be a couple of prerequisite skills you guys are going to need to learn. That is going to be how to jump, how to tuck, and how to backward roll. So the first thing we're going to show you guys is how to jump and how to take off during your backflip. Now, oftentimes you'll see people teach the arms up, arms down, jump up strong, and this method is very good, but for me personally, I prefer to teach it with a circle, as it's just going to end up being a little bit more like what we're going to experience when we go into tricking, when we start doing stuff like eagles into corks, and all sorts of other skills. So for me, I like a circle and a scoop rather than a up and a down. So the first thing we're going to start to work on when it comes to our takeoff is learning how to use our arms and our hips in synchronization. Now, when we're doing this, you're going to think about bringing your elbows back all the way behind you to here, and as your arms get all the way back, you're also then going to bend your knees a little bit and get into this shape. As we do it, we're going to imagine our butt and our hips are like an ice cream scooper. So we're not just going to go and jump, we're actually going to think of scooping the ground and then driving up tall, so we end up in this nice shape, which will help us to take off and get rotation when we add the tuck. So, arms back, hips back, and scoop the ground. Lovely. Now, as we are doing this, and once you've understood how to scoop and get all the way back, as you're standing up, you're going to need to think about lifting up, not just your hands, but your elbows, your shoulders, and from your sternum. You need to imagine someone is pulling you up from your t-shirt, so you stand all the way up till here, right up on your tiptoes. If you do that, you'll be getting the most jump rather than just jumping through your quads. You want to be pushing through your toes. So now moving on quickly to the tuck part of your backflip. So a tuck shape simply is on the floor like this, grab your knees in nice and strong. When you do this, you don't want to be sticking your chest out with a flat back. You want to be rounded in nice and strong. Think about pulling your knees into your chest. And you need to imagine there's someone trying to pull your body completely apart. Yeah, Uzi, if you come out here and give me a little bit of a demo. Yeah. So you got to try and pull my hands apart, break my body. Ready? Yep. Yeah, keeping the core in nice and strong, not letting yourself be flimsy. Now that is just the tuck shape itself, but the tuck we're going to need to make in our back somersault is going to have to be useful and efficient to help us with rotation. So this is where we're going to implement a little bit of a snap. So I want you to lay down on the floor, just like so, with your arms up strong. And just first of all I need you to think about doing is pressing your shoulders into the ground and then lifting your knees up to your chest. Nice and slow first of all. If you are sitting up to your knees and doing this, that is actually going to cause you to rotate the other way, and we do not want that in your backflip. We want to be going straight from laying down to tuck into a shoulder stand position. If you're only tucking to here, that's okay, but as you can see, it's not really fast, it's not really causing me to backward roll. So really think about bringing the knees up into your chest and getting right up onto your traps into a shoulder stand with that chin in. So now if you understand how to do that tuck and that snap, we can then think about doing a backward roll. If you have a triangular slope in the gym that you are training at, then I'd recommend you first of all just get yourself sitting on top of that and practice your back rolls down that, as that is what's going to help you out. Haven't quite got one of them here just yet, but it's not 100% necessary anyway. Instead, now you're going to think about standing there, nice and strong, arms up. You're going to do a tuck shape to sit on the floor and push back. And then we're going to snap into that same tuck shoulder stand position you just made. However, rather than stopping, you're going to bring your feet all the way over and give me a little push off your arms to see the floor and your hands in front of you. When you're doing this, make sure as you're pushing back into your backward roll, you're trying to spot your feet so you come straight back and up here. Then as you push off your hands, look and try and see them. So look at your feet, push, look at your hands. So that is your takeoff, your tuck and your backward roll all sorted. Now let's get on to the preps that are actually going to start to help us build towards this backflip. Lovely, so now we're on to the first prep for our backflip. So on this one, we're mainly just going to think about that lovely takeoff we thought about, but we're going to start to think about adding some rotation. So for me personally, I like to think of a backflip as a maximum jump, where at the top of your jump, you start to think about leaning back, so your body comes off the floor into this position, almost a quarter of the rotation is already done, and then you tuck it over, rather than just thinking about doing a big jump and tucking up and seeing people go up and down onto your heads. Yeah, I don't like that. These are the preps that are going to help you not have to do that. So now we're going to think about jumping our back onto the mat. From here, we are going to imagine that we are a lovely puppet, yeah, a bit of Pinocchio, whatever one you want to think of, and you have a hook attached to your traps from here, and another one attached to your belt here. As you're doing your circle and you're jumping, getting to the peak of your takeoff now, someone from this back hook is pulling you up and down back this way, doing this motion, and then the other guy is pulling you up from your hips, so you end up going here and up nice and strong. So I'll show you now what that's going to look like. So that is just your jump and set for the first part of your backflip. Now we're actually going to start to add that rotation and understand that tuck. Now we're going to combine that first takeoff we done with the snap to shoulder stand we practiced during that first part of the video. So jump onto your back, and now just before you're going to land, you need to think about snapping into your tuck shape and landing in a shoulder stand. So as you saw when I first started, it was just a little bit of a jump, not really getting my hips involved, just jumping and landing on my entire back. However, as I then started to get more aggressive, get my hips involved, get more of that lovely scoop and takeoff, I landed higher and higher up my back as the skills went on, and by the end of it, on that last one, I accidentally done a backward roll. I didn't even mean to do that. If you can do that when you do this one, we're ready for this next step. With this next step, we've already accidentally done it in that last one, hopefully, but now we are actually intentionally going to do jump back to backward roll on the blocks. Now, when you first start doing this, you're welcome to do it at something, say, waist height, but I'd really recommend you try and build up and do it to something that at least comes up to like your first rib or the middle of your body. That way you know you're getting the height, generating the power, and actually creating the rotation yourself. Otherwise, the height drop might give you the illusion that you are, and when you come to actually sending it, you might not be as confident. When you do this one, if you just think about grabbing your knees and doing this, you probably won't actually have the force of backward roll. So really emphasize having your hips up and leaving your feet trailing behind. That way, as you bring your knees over, you don't just do this, but you do this action like a circle, and that actually assists you to get round. Chin stays in the whole time, and you're confident going over, and you won't end up with any neck injuries then. So make sure when you're doing this one, rather than landing on the bottom 2/3 of your back, you're really aiming to land on the top third exclusively. If you can do that, you know you've jumped up properly, you know you've snapped enough, and the rotation and the backward roll you have created has been done by yourself, not just hitting the blocks, momentum that has given you. So it's fine if they look a little bit like this on the first ones, but just make sure before you move on to the assisted backflip, you have one that is looking at least like this. Alright, so the next prep we're going to be doing to help you learn your backflip is going to be an assisted backflip using the block. However, we have now introduced a little bit of a landing rather than a nice backward roll onto a big soft mat. So this is probably where the element of fear might start to kick in, but this prep here is what I like to use to help at least minimise that and get people moving, grooving and feeling good with it. So Uzi, could you come and sit on my mate here? Or at least hold it for me, please. There we go, yeah? Whenever you've got these blocks, make sure you get a pal to hold it so he's keeping you nice and safe. That way the block isn't going to tip over and you're not going to fall on your head and end up on you've been framed. So you're going to start off just by sitting up nice and tall. You're going to give yourself a little backward roll to a little shoulder stand shape, making sure that your shoulders are getting towards the end, yeah? If it's any further back, then you might land on your head. If it's any further along, then you're just getting that backward rolling on the block. Make sure you really pull these shoulders back, and as you get close to the block, you pull the knees right over towards that shoulder stand shape so you can land nicely on the mat. This doesn't always have to be on a setup like this. If you have access to a foam pit or blocks that are higher or mats that are softer, whatever you need to do to get this one done, you can get it done, yeah? Use your brain, a bit of ingenuity. Notice how when I'm doing this one, I'm making sure my arms are getting above my head to here, and then I'm tucking over. That will help me to pull, snap into a tuck, and it's going to be very specific for actually getting into our shape for our backflip. So, shoulders back, hands to ears, and when you feel your back, really snap over in that tuck shape, keeping that chin in. Lovely. Once you've done 10 to 15 of them or so, or as many as it takes for you to not get scared, we are now going to pick our mate up and we're going to give him a spin. And now here is the fun part. Get your trusted mate to go stand there behind the block, and now we are going to combine the old jump backward roll with the full back to backward roll and landing, aka the assisted backflip. Once again, when you first start doing this one, there probably is going to be a little bit of fear, so you have to start a little bit slower. You can do so, but just make sure you're building it up until you're getting faster and faster and faster, eventually making it feel like you're pretty much doing the backflip yourself, and if anything, the block is just getting in your way and allowing you to not use your full potential. So, first ones might look a little something like this. But then we're going to aim to build them up little by little, just like this. Once again, the difference is, on the first couple, I'm landing on my lower back, and then as I'm getting better and better, I'm landing it higher, 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 and higher, until eventually, I'm just on the traps. Now that is really, really going to require you to do that big lovely scoop shape, that pull back from the shoulders and that lift strong from the hips and the toes. If you do that, you'll feel yourself get hung off the floor and have this quarter rotation already done like you're laying back, and then from there all you have to do is tuck over this way and you'll be strong. Yeah, so we're not jumping, tucking in this half and doing this. Instead, we're doing a big lovely circle in the scoop shape. Pull them shoulders back to here, yeah, then puppet masters are pulling you, and then you're gonna tuck over in this side of the old block. And the final step of you learning your backflip is to give it a go. For this one, I wouldn't recommend you send it straight away by yourself on the solid floor. If you are by yourself and you haven't got any coaches around, the best thing you can do is find the environment that you know you're the most comfortable in and feel the most safe. Whether that is from an air track to the soft mat, whether it's standing on a trampoline to a soft mat, whether it's off the edge into a pit, just anywhere where you feel comfortable enough to get this done. By this point, if you've done all the steps correctly and you really have mastered them, then you should be feeling pretty confident doing this. If you're standing there with a little bit of fear, then I'd probably recommend you revert, go back to the next step until you're feeling 100% confident. So, once again, do your backflip in the safest environment you can physically make possible, or, even better, get a coach to spot you and have them give their opinion and their 2 cents on what they think of it, and if they feel you're ready, they'll probably tell you to give it a send. So I'll show you backflips in these environments, and that will be the end of how you guys can learn this backflip. Lovely. So, just to round out this video, there are a couple of points I want to make. One being, how long should it take, or how long should I expect it to take to learn some of these skills? And number two, how can I make this process the most enjoyable and the best possible for myself? So, when it comes to giving timeframes to people for learning skills, the honest answer is, I'm not sure. For every single person, this could be different. I could give people a rough estimate based on how well they've got on during a session, or how well they are doing the preps beforehand, the prerequisites, but as a coach, I wouldn't want to sit there and give you a bang-on time frame of, it's going to take you this long and then it's perfect. So it doesn't matter whether it takes 1 minute for you to get a skill, 1 month for you to get a skill, or even a year to get this skill. Keep on working towards it, keep on mastering your drills, and don't skip any parts, and I'm sure all of it will come eventually. Don't be in a rush. And now the next little point I want to make is making this journey enjoyable. So if you have gone and used these resources and you're in the gym right now and I'm speaking to you mid-session, if you haven't understood or got these skills straight away, it is okay. If you feel like you've built up to level 4 of the tuck back and you're doing the half assisted one by yourself, but you're not quite ready or committed to send the backflip by yourself or even with a spot or someone yet, that's perfectly fine. The work you've done up until now, up until this point, has helped you to understand it, has helped you level up. So make sure you take your win. If you step into the gym and you didn't know anything about the skill you was trying, but then by the end of it you're upset because you didn't land it, but you've walked away understanding it, ready and raring to go into the next one, then in my opinion, that's a win. Not all progress needs to be visible, and not all progress needs to be completely significant. Piece by piece, 1%, marginal gains, and that is the true way. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that little bit in there has just made sense, and I hope that this video has helped you guys learn some new tricking skills. There are going to be a few more videos like this in the future, showing you guys how you can learn certain skills and giving you a little bit of advice from myself that hopefully can help you to learn and make your learning process the best and easiest possible. So, if you guys have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the page. And if you guys have a friend or you know of anyone who is trying to learn these skills, please refer them onto this video. And even better, if you guys live near London or Kent, then come down to the gym, come learn some flips with me, and I'll get you started in your tricking or gymnastics journey. That has been all. I've said all the stuff I need to say before. I'll see you guys in my next video.